Have you ever prayed and felt like nothing happened? You spoke honestly. You opened your heart. You waited. But the silence stayed. No sign. No answer. Just quiet. And somewhere inside, a thought begins to form. Maybe God isn't listening. Maybe your prayers are going nowhere. That feeling can be heavier than anything else. Because it's not just about waiting. It's about wondering if you're alone. And when that question sits in your heart long enough, it can slowly change the way you pray. You hesitate. You hold back. You start to wonder if it even matters. But what if silence doesn't mean what we think it means? We're used to responses that are quick and clear. When we talk to someone, we expect an answer, a message back, a sign of acknowledgement, something that tells us we've been heard. So when God doesn't respond the way we expect, we assume nothing is happening, but God doesn't work on our timing, and He doesn't always speak in ways we can immediately recognize. Sometimes, the quiet isn't distance, it's depth, because the most important things in life rarely happen in noise. They happen slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Think about the moments that changed you the most. They weren't always loud. They didn't always come with clear answers. They came through waiting, through uncertainty, through moments where you had no choice but to keep going, without knowing what was ahead. That's what silence does. It removes the illusion of control and replaces it with trust. And trust is not built in comfort. It's built in uncertainty. When everything is clear, faith feels easy. But when nothing seems to move, that's when faith becomes real. Not because you see something, but because you choose to believe anyway. And that choice, to keep believing without evidence, is what transforms you. Because faith is not about controlling outcomes. It's about staying connected. Even when outcomes are unclear, we live in a world that moves fast. If something doesn't happen quickly, we assume it's not working. We've been trained to expect results, to measure progress, to see change immediately. But the things that matter most, growth, healing, purpose, they don't follow that pattern. They take time. Not because they're being ignored, but because they're being built. There are things happening that you cannot see. Paths being aligned in ways you don't yet understand. People being prepared. Circumstances slowly shifting beneath the surface. And while it looks like nothing is happening, something is, just not in a way you can measure yet. That's the part that's hardest to accept, because silence feels empty. But it isn't. It's full of unseen movement, full of preparation, full of timing that is not yours, but is still intentional. And that's where many people struggle. Because we don't just want an answer. We want it now. We want clarity. We want reassurance. We want something we can hold on to. But sometimes, instead of giving you immediate answers, God gives you space. Space to grow, space to reflect, space to become stronger than you were before. And in that space, something begins to change inside you. You start to realize that your relationship with God cannot be built only on visible results. It has to go deeper than that. It has to exist even when nothing seems to be happening. Because if your faith only survives when things go your way, it won't survive long. But if it learns to stay steady in silence, it becomes unshakable. Your prayer is not lost. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't get ignored. It is heard. Every word, every thought, every quiet moment when you reach out, even if you're unsure, even when your voice feels small, even when your faith feels weak, it is still heard. And even if the answer doesn't come immediately, that doesn't mean it won't come at all. There's a difference between no and not yet. And many people give up in the middle of that space. They stop praying. They stop believing. Not because God left, but because it became quiet. But what if the silence you're experiencing right now isn't a sign to stop? What if it's the very place where something is being prepared? What if the delay is not rejection, but protection? What if you're being guided away from something you don't yet understand? Or being shaped into someone who is ready for what's ahead? Because sometimes the answer isn't delayed to frustrate you. It's delayed to prepare you. Silence has a way of slowing you down. It forces you to sit with your thoughts, to face your doubts, to confront the parts of you that usually get ignored. And in that process, something deeper begins. You start to listen differently, not just for answers, but for meaning. You begin to notice things you missed before, small moments, quiet clarity, subtle peace that doesn't come from circumstances. And slowly, your understanding changes. You stop asking, why is nothing happening? And begin asking, what is happening that I don't see yet? That shift changes everything. Because now, silence is no longer empty. It becomes meaningful. It becomes a place of trust. A place where your faith grows roots instead of just reacting to what's visible. And that kind of faith is strong. So if you feel like your prayers are going unheard, don't walk away. Stay. Even when it's quiet. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when you don't understand. Stay. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep showing up. Because your faith is not wasted in silence. It is being built there. And what you're waiting for may already be unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. You are not alone in this moment, even if it feels like it. And one day, you may look back and realize that what felt like silence was actually guidance. What felt like waiting was actually preparation. And what felt like nothing was actually something happening all along. If this message speaks to your heart, subscribe and share it so more people can hear the teachings of Jesus.